Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I have finally got my mapping software back. So, today, we are going to be, talking about what if the Russians tried to reform the Soviet Union. Now, this is technically, this is not really surprising, as Russia, it's kind of simple. Russia was the Soviet Union, and they've claimed multiple times, like even in the invasion in Ukraine, that because Ukraine was former Soviets, that they have the right to invade them. I guess, yeah, it's a really weird thing. So I'm not really surprised that they would try to do this. But first off, we're just gonna say this. If any of you guys do not like this, you guys feel offended by this, please comment down below and I can just, make a different video about it, because obviously I don't want you guys or anyone else feeling upset because I make these kind of videos. But anyways, so honestly, I feel like the first person that they would invade, actually I don't really think they would have to invade this. I feel like Belarus would kind of just already join them, really. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, because Belarus is basically nothing without Russia, and I'm just gonna say this once, and I don't really care what y'all say, but I feel like the next person they would invade is Ukraine. They already have done this, but once again, maybe Moldova too, but not Moldova yet, because Moldova is not, because they gotta get to Ukraine first. So immediately, Russian troops lined up on the border of Ukraine, use the areas of Belarus and all around Russia to invade. Now, obviously, they're already really close to Kiev, and that's a kind of bad sign for the Ukrainians, as they are really getting cooked on all sides. Immediately, the Russians would also invade Crimea through the Black Sea, which they would do pretty easily. They would then move up into the Donbass area, which they would sort of form a front line, kind of like this. Now, also, I just want to say this: Russia has a buff here. I just gotta explain this on most of my videos. Russia has a buff, and they also have NATO doesn't exist, the EU doesn't exist, all world alliances do not exist here, because if they did, if Russia's trying to form the Soviet Union and they invade the Baltics, does NATO exist? It's just going to be NATO versus Russia, and that's not going to be fun. It's just going to be really boring. So, yeah, for now, we just won't do that, so just to keep that in mind, because, what am I doing? I'm trying to call, okay. Yeah, but we don't want that happening because it's going to be really annoying. Anyways, let's get back. Eventually, the Russians would take Kiev, which I think is right here, and the Ukrainians would begin to fall, but the Ukrainian spirit would not give up, and the Ukrainians would continuously fight the Russians, even though their capital would have been captured. A massive encirclement of Ukrainian troops would happen near the Romanian border, and a lot of Ukrainian soldiers would retreat into Moldova and Romania, mostly into Romania. Eventually, a massive amount of Ukrainian troops would be encircled in this big circle area. Also, sorry if I'm not doing this right. I haven't done this in a while, so yeah. Eventually, the Russians would just the Ukrainians would set their focus on protecting Liv. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, the Russians would eventually continue pushing, and the Ukrainians would make some pushback, maybe right here. I mean, it wouldn't be big though, so it's kind of hard to see what would happen. Eventually, though, the Russians would continue to push into Ukraine, and eventually, after a lot of fighting and the Russians taking Lviv, the Ukrainians would surrender. Now, obviously, if this is a Now, obviously, the Russians are just gonna full annex them if they're trying to form the Soviet Union again. Now, Moldova and Romania would be really scared of this, especially like all of the neighbors of Russia. Most importantly would be Poland, and they would actually form an alliance. This would consist of Poland, the Baltics, basically just all the Eastern European states at this point. Even Finland joins. So would these guys, as these guys are pretty much scared of Russia at this point. They easily took out Ukraine and Belarus. The stands would be the next to be invaded, as the Russians would not wanna be really in that state right now, trying to. Now, honestly, I'm sorry, but this is probably gonna be the easiest invasion of Russia that Russia has done. These guys are really not strong, and if Russia really fought these guys, it just wouldn't be a close matchup at all. Kazakhstan would probably, they would set their focus on Kazakhstan first, which would get, oh my god, what was that? Which would get taken out first. And then they would set their focus on Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. Now, Kyrgyzstan is mountainous, so we're going to take that into an account. I don't think Uzbekistan is that mountainous, so they're kind of going to roll over Uzbekistan. Eventually, they'll kill Kyrgyzstan, go into now they go into Turkmenistan. Oh my god. Alright, time to do these borders. Also, the reason why a lot of my videos haven't been edited because I'm trying to get back everything I used for recording. So it's going to take a while before anything will actually happen. If you hear like whatever that is in the background, that's because of my dog. I got a dog, and she's just in the background, so she might be in the background more. Who knows? Oh, I need to. All right. So the stands are taken, and the Eastern Europeans are kind of scared for their lives. Okay. So now that Russia has grown in size exponentially, oh, what is that? But they have grown exponentially, and they're doing really good. They're. Oh, damn, we're already 8 minutes into recording. Okay. God damn. But the Russians, to form the Soviet Union, would not really would need to attack the Green Alliance. So the Russians would end up mobilizing their army, because this is not going to be it's not going to be an easy win. So after a while, a war is declared. Just do this. Now, I'm not going to say the Russians would sweep through. Now, first off, we're going to focus on the Caucasians first. So obviously, Russia would immediately take control of these two. I'm not going to even try. But Russian troops would push through the border into Georgia and Azerbaijan. Immediately taking out Georgia and moving through Azerbaijan into Armenia, and taking out Armenia and finishing off Azerbaijan. The Russians would next move into Moldova, while having resistance on their front. They would also immediately connect through to Kaliningrad and taking out Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Now, I'm not going to really say that Poland would really not stand a chance. Also, there's literally no movement on the Finnish border. But Russia would be making moves. It wouldn't be without really anyone. Poland really can't do anything. Like it's like Russia full powered with a lot of military would eventually sweep through Poland and pretty much everyone else. But it wouldn't be an easy feat. Like it wouldn't be like the easiest feat ever, you know. So eventually, Russia would. Whew, I'm not that well today. Oh my god. Recording this at like 8:33 a.m. and I normally wake up at like 9. What the fuck? Whatever. But eventually, Russia would take out Romania and would have split Poland in half. Poland would eventually surrender, making Russia be able to kill Slovakia, and then easily taking out Hungary. Alright, let's make the peace treaty. Alright, I might have actually just stopped recording to make the peace treaty, and I completely forgot that Finland exists. Oh my god. But Finland would honestly just keep on holding out until Russian troops would eventually be able to push through and would make some progress. Now, the reason why that Russia's having such a hard time, you may ask, is because the Finnish are just really good at tactics. They did this in the Winter War, and their military has just gotten stronger since the Winter War. So I feel like, genuinely, it's a feat for them. Eventually, the Russians would use their navy, which isn't really a lot, to land in Helsinki. But for once, the blue team actually pushes back the Russians. They do this by using tactics and using their skis again. They encircle some Russian troops, which they take out, and eventually the Russians and Finnish, and eventually it goes back and forth for a little bit until it goes to this front line where they decide to do a peace treaty. So now I will do the peace treaty. So this is the peace treaty. It's really bad. Oh my god. So basically, what happened in the peace treaty is Russia obviously got all the Soviet states, and they have become the Soviet Union. They also got a lot of land from Romania and some land from Poland. Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania all became puppets of the USSR, and obviously, we're probably going to end the video here. Because the Soviets, after gaining what they wanted to, they probably wouldn't really need to expand anymore, because really, why would they? I mean, it's kind of obvious, like, what they would want and, like, what they would really need. But, yeah, so we're going to end the video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.